Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome to episode 7. Again, congratulations on getting here. Today we're going to finish up our movement, get a really nice smooth movement, and by the end of this you'll have exactly what I have in all my games. I know I've said that 3 times, but this one is for sure, I promise. So, what we need to do essentially, if you remember from last time, when we move around, our guy does not stop. You know, we got this nice, speed up movement. If you move around, you can see it's pretty nice, but it slides around like we're on ice. So we want to go ahead and make it stop. So the reason that this is happening is because we're increasing our velocity here, and we're making it equal. We're not making it equal this. We're increasing it by this. So even when we stop, it still has retained that value, right? So after we stop pressing, we're only adding 0 times this, which is 0. So we're adding 0 after that, but it still exists. So what do we want to do is essentially say that if we're taking input, meaning that if the input is anything, right? If we're pressing up, right, left, whatever, then we want to move in that direction. But if we're not, then we have to specify that we want to slow down and move towards 0. So how we do that is with an if statement. We say if input vector, right? Nope. If input vector does not equal vector2 dot 0, then we're going to highlight this and I'm going to hit tab, and what that'll do is that I'll tab it over underneath that. So I think this is actually the first time we've used more than one line in an if statement. Theoretically, you can actually just keep going down and anything you put in any of these lines will be considered valid as long as you have this tab here. The tab is what's really important. So we've got the if and one tab, and we've got that for both of these, and thus both of these will only run when this is evaluated to be true. And what have we said here is that only do this if our input vector, right, does not equal 0. So thus, if our input vector, basically what this is saying is only do this if you have some kind of player input. And then if you don't, we have to specify something else. Now, how would you do that? Well, you could put in another if statement, but I'm going to teach you about something really, really important, which is called the else statement, okay? So while if, it's very similar in structure. You can see the else has got the colon, just like this has the colon right there. Then we've got a return, and then a tab, and then we have the bracket or space or whatever you'd say for where we want something to execute. So basically where we would say, like, if this happens, right, do this. Else says specifically, if not, if this doesn't happen, literally, if anything else happens besides this, that's why if else, right, then do this. So it's a really nice way of kind of covering your bases. So you might want to say, like, if it's raining, put on a coat, but if there's literally anything else happen, like, go party, right? Like, whatever you'd want to say. Like, in any other instance, right, do that. And that's what we're saying here. And we're going to say velocity. First we'll say equals vector2.0. Okay? And what'll happen now is that we move around. When we let go, we just stop. Obviously, that looks pretty jolting that you just stopped. We're going to slowly come down to a stop. Now, you could probably find a way to write a function that would move you towards 0. But luckily, like I said, Godot is a game engine made because it knows that you're going to be making guys that run around. You want them to slow down nice. So the way we do this is we say velocity equals velocity dot move toward, and then essentially this will move something towards whatever value this is. So what value do we want it to move towards? We want it to move towards vector2.0. Okay, and then comma, and then this is basically by what amount. And for me, I'm just going to put our acceleration. Okay, now if we run this, you can see that I go like this. And when I let go, I kind of like skid down to that stop. And we can make this a little more exaggerated by, right here, I'll divide this by 2.0. Okay. And now if I go around like this and then let go, you can see that I really have a few seconds where I'm like slowing down. I'm not just coming straight to a stop. But yeah, so that might be what you want, whatever. That is essentially the movement. This is very close to the movement. I mean, you basically see this verbatim. I even use the same words. I use input vector, max speed, acceleration, yada, yada, yada. And in my code, in a lot of code. And in fact, if you haven't already checked out Heartbeast's tutorial, you'll see him doing something very, very similar to this. This is probably some of the best movement code that I have seen for general top-down movement. I use something very similar to that for platformers. It's really great. And like I said, it already includes the ability to work with gamepads if somebody's using something like that. All right, so now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do is quickly explain a few more things about if statements. So now that we've introduced elf, else, I want to go ahead and introduce basically elif. So the elif statement here, pass, you have to write something in here. So basically an else statement, like I said, will basically cover all the other boundaries. So if this is true, do this, and then else says if anything else is true, do this. An elif statement is basically another if statement, except that it will only run if this one is false. So you could write another if statement if whatever, like if it's raining again, we could do something like that. But we only want, so for instance, let's actually do that. So we'll say var raining equals true, right? And then we'll say if raining, why can't I spell that? If raining, then we'll print wear a coat. Okay, right? And then we can say that it's going to be printing wear a coat the whole time. But what we can do is then write elif. Now elif, well, basically what this says is that we will only run this code if this one evaluates to false. So if we're checking, is this true? If so, do this, right? But if it's not true, then we check this, right? And then we check this, and if that's true, we do that, okay? But the cost of this is that we shouldn't be able to slow down now. So if I'm not moving, it'll do that. Here, let's actually do this and start moving just right away. That's not gonna do that. Gotta like time it. Yeah, whatever. So it starts printing though. So we can look at the bar down there and you can see it starts getting smaller because it prints when I stop moving. But you can see that I also stopping moving right here, stop decelerating. And that's because if one of these, you can have multiple elif statements, right? You can write elif, this, and then you can write another elif, and you can keep going, right? You can only have one if and then one else statement in one of these, what we'd say like if, elif, else blocks, right? And so if any of these evaluates to true, so if evaluates to true, nothing down the chain will then be ever executed, right? Because this has to evaluate to false for this to be even checked. And then this has to evaluate to false for this to be even checked. So this covers all other boundaries. This covers like one possible situation, then this would cover situation number 2, and this would cover all situations that we didn't specifically cover right up here. And that's basically how you use if, elif, and else. The final thing I want to cover today is just another simple thing about if statements, and that is the and or operators. So we can say if not raining, well actually we'll put this in the ready function so I don't have to deal with tons of stuff happening. Say if not raining, right? Then we'll say print Godot, right? So if not raining, print Godot. This isn't going to work, right, because raining's true, but we can use the or keyword. So we can say or, we'll say, we'll just say if x equals 1, okay? So what we'll say here is if not raining or x equals 1, then do this. So what this means is that we can now say if either of these is true. So what the or statement says is if either of these evaluates to true, then do this, right? And so now we'll do this and it'll print Godot, right? Even though this is false, right? So if we get rid of this and run this, you can see that it doesn't print. It's just because we added this or statement. Now the other statement here is and, right? And while or only requires one of these to be true, and requires both of these to be true. So this will not run, okay? And that's basically it. I think it's, if you understand if statements, the and statements are not super duper confusing. The only thing I would say about if and statements is something that I was confused with when I was learning, and I saw a lot of people getting confused with, is like if we're going to say if x is greater than like 0, and then we'd say and, right? You can't say like and less than 0, right? You'd have to say and x is less than 0. So you have to write the entire block, because remember, we're not just evaluating this or this, we're evaluating this whole thing. So we have to write the entire thing under each one, because this is what we are asking if is true, not just this. And so that's something that I got hicked up with when I was getting started. And then finally, I just want to say that you can write and this and that, and you can just keep going if you want, and that's possible. And finally, that you can nest if statements. And so that is very similar to doing and. We can say if this is true, and then inside here we can write another if statement. We can say if x is less than 0, x is less than 2, okay, then we do this. So you can see that's called a nested if statement, because we got an if statement within another if statement. And this is totally fun. This is totally kosher. In this case, I think this would actually print true, right? Because x is greater than 0 and less than 1. So run this, and you can see Godot is printed. So that's basically all I wanted to cover in today's video. We finished up movement, and we also got into basically covering the rest of what if statements do. It's okay if you're still a little confused on the elif and else statements, because we are definitely going to be using those more. They're really, really important to code, as I said. And that basically covers movement as we are going to do it right here. Now what we're going to go ahead and get into is scene instancing. And to do that, we're going to be creating a bullet scene using some of the stuff we've used. And then we're going to be showing you how you make someone of a gun that can shoot those bullets. And that's called scene instancing. So that's really important. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.